Sports has always been political. Some use it for positive change, like Muhammad Ali during the Vietnam War. Others use it for evil propaganda, like Hitler and the 1936 Berlin Olympics. 85 years later, another evil regime is planning a repeat. China. They're hosting the 2022 Winter Olympic Games. Once again, sport is the target to spin propaganda, to whitewash genocide and to erase human rights violations. What is the IOC doing about this? The International Olympic Committee, what are they doing? They run the games. They protect the Olympic legacy. Are they fine with an oppressive state hosting their prized event? It seems they are. Listen to what the IOC's vice president had to say.
The IOC does place a very high emphasis on human rights. You know that it's a very important part of the fundamental principles of Olympism, the fundamental principles that are set out in the Olympic Charter. But the IOC's remit is to ensure that there is no human rights abuses in respect of the conduct of the Games within the National Olympic Committees or within the Olympic movement. We have no ability to go into a country and tell them what to do. All we can do is to award the Olympic Games to a country under conditions set out in a host contract, and Brisbane's got it, and then ensure that they are followed.
What do you make of that? We care about human rights, but only when our athletes are affected, only when the games are affected. What happens outside is none of our concern. Well, we've got news for the IOC. Human rights do not come with conditions. That's the whole point of calling it human rights, not athlete rights, not Olympic rights, human rights. They apply to everyone, to me, to you, and to the 1 million Uyghurs incarcerated by Xi Jinping. Who will speak up for them? The IOC says it is none of their business. They just award the contracts. They cannot tell a country what to do. Well, fine. Then why let such countries host the games at all? The Uyghur genocide did not begin yesterday. It goes back to 2014, possibly earlier. Xi Jinping rounded up Uyghurs, put them in detention camps, and did unspeakable horrors to them. There are reports of torture, human experiments, forced sterilization, state-sanctioned rape. Is this the Olympic brand? Is this what sport stands for? The fact is, the IOC could have prevented this. They decide who hosts the Olympics. They could have rejected China, but they chose not to. And by doing so, they violated the spirit of their own mission. That's right, the IOC has 18 stated objectives, 1-8. Let me show you some relevant ones. Mission number 4, this is what it says: to cooperate with the competent public or private organizations and authorities in the endeavor to place sport at the service of humanity and thereby promote peace. Service of humanity and peace. That's not part of the Chinese dictionary. Mission number 11, to oppose any political or commercial abuse of sport and athletes. Too late for that. China is using the Winter Games as a propaganda tool. Politics is the main attraction. Sports is the warm-up act. Mission number 15, this is what it says: to promote a positive legacy from the Olympic Games to the host cities, regions and countries. Well, that's exactly what China wants, to use the Olympic brand to wash away its sins. And the IOC is happily playing along. The question is why? Is the IOC afraid of being called political? Not from the looks of it. The Olympic Committee has championed some great causes like refugee rights, like gender equality, sustainable developments. These are also political issues. So what's stopping the IOC now? Let me give you a short history of China as an Olympic host. Their first attempt was for the 2000 Summer Olympics. They lost to Sydney. And one reason for that was human rights. The IOC wanted to protect its legacy. The second attempt was for the 2008 Summer Games, and China won the bid. And here's what an IOC official, a senior official, wrote about that decision. The decision in 2001 to give the Games to China was made in the hope of improvement in human rights, and indeed, the Chinese themselves said that having the Games would accelerate progress in such matters. How wrong they were. China's human rights record slid further after 2008. This time around, there is no conversation of human rights. The IOC says it's not our job. So do you see the trajectory here? In 2000, China was rejected. In 2008, they were accepted with a warning. And in 2022, they have been embraced, no questions asked. What has changed in these 2 decades? China's economy, that's what has changed. The IOC needs Chinese money, they need Chinese sponsors, and for that, they have abandoned moral obligations. And why just the IOC? The sponsors are equally complicit. The likes of Intel, Coca-Cola, Airbnb, Samsung, Toyota. They're all pumping millions into the Beijing Winter Olympics. They're all indirectly supporting the Uyghur genocide. Xi Jinping may get away with it in 2022, but remember, so did Hitler in 1936, and we all know what happened next. 1936 was Hitler's Olympics. It is remembered for Nazi cruelty, not sportsmanship. The same legacy awaits Xi's Winter Olympics. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.